three?
You don't have to record it. That's how I know you. You know what I'm talking about? No, it's not. It's done, yeah. It's done. Will you see if you can pin your boy to the tail on the donkey? Is that who I think it is? In the house. What up? Dang.
He's been locked.
Been hiding in that room all day.
I got here on Monday. You guys haven't let me out yet.
Just getting warmed up. We're just getting started. I just looked over and saw you peeking through the glass there. So.
Can we have a quick conversation about how trash Diet Dr. Pepper is?
Oh, I mean, I'm not a Dr. Pepper fan.
First of all, you're wrong. But
Hey.
you're entitled to your opinion. Even if it is.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Diet anything is just, it's not the same.
But dude, that's so garbage. They're out of regular Dr. Pepper.
Were you able to pin it? Did you pin my screen? See if you can do it. I don't know if you can or not. Okay, we're having just a couple of
I just have like 6. Get the flavor and then I drink water.
technology trials here. We're getting
It's been, but I obviously.
I feel like I could read that.
no problem. Take your time, do it right.
Pops or whatever.
You guys are terrible.
Really? I just looked at this just like actually.
We're testing this out. We're testing out some technology to see if it's working. Jeremiah, I might have to double check on Facebook because if you're joining us on Facebook, what we are going to do is we are going to accept all questions on Facebook and or Zoom, wherever you feel comfortable finding us.
But
He's got like 3 computers going back there,
problem is.
and he's really working it.
Trying to make it taste like other things. The ones that they.
Big shout out to Jeremiah. Big shout out to you guys who are watching. We appreciate you. We are just trying to
Like,
make sure we have everything that we need.
That's perfect. If they called it something else, it'd probably be good.
Right. I'm not. But yeah, no, you're expecting Dr. Pepper. Or I need to,
Like you get to.
Okay, no problem.
and it's, I believe it's here, I just don't know what it is.
No problem. We're gonna test one little thing real quick.
Yeah, I know, like, you just slap. Well, yeah, like pop, like the ones that are like running the pop world are sitting around so long, it's so hard to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Coca-Cola.
Like I said, you just come out, why don't you just come out, just go different, like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you don't have to say this one tastes like this.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna try it once,
What I've done
and be like, no, it doesn't, remove it over my neck. If you told me that it was like a,
There we go.
you know, something else that has flavors in there, you know,
Yeah.
black cherry, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I tried it, like, it's good,
Yeah. Yeah.
but because they're like, no, it tastes like Dr. Pepper. I was talking about this.
It's like the Mr. Pibb thing.
Mr. Pibb's garbage. If I'm gonna drink pop, I want my pop to have gone to school.
Was it say I was a dropout? You didn't know Mr. Pibb was a dropout?
What's that?
Can you get it done?
Huh?
I don't even know what that is. Is that a wedding? Does it look like a wedding dance floor? Yeah. That was at a
He was not the recipient.
wedding for another basketball guy. Very interesting.
Degree.
Okay, so we're good. We're not live on the feed. We're live in the group. Yeah? Guys, this is so exciting. So much technology happening all at once. New microphones, new Zoom protocols. What'd you say?
Watch you go like this, on this.
He's been watching all the movies.
Yeah, that's a.
Streaming across 4 different screens. This is great. Now you got a chance to see it all. Guys, happy Thursday. So pumped. This has been like a crazy week, especially if you got listings and stuff going on. Like there's all kinds of deals flying around everywhere, but I'm super pumped. I'm glad you guys are all here. So I want to jump right in. Welcome you guys to another coaching call. Really, really quick. Just want to quick explanation of this coaching call thing. Thursdays are for you to come in here, and this is for any questions you have in the entire world. Any contract questions, client questions. What do I do with my schedule questions? If you want some coaching, we'll do that with you right here. And the beauty is you get to learn from other people's situations that they're going through. and people get to learn from the situations that you are going through. So one of the biggest ways you can give back is just to come in and get help. So again, anything and everything we are open to just having conversation around. So I want to open up the floor for people in the room first, and then if you're joining us on Zoom or Facebook Live, if you want to just drop your question in the chat, we will make sure we get to it as soon as we possibly can. But drop any questions, anything you want to make sure we discuss in the chat. I just want to open it up. Is there anything that you guys would love to talk about, ask questions around? And before we get to questions, I just want to give a shout out to my man Junior Pura in the house, dude. It's good to see you back. Good to see you back. Yes, makes me so excited. So questions, anything that you guys have going on, anything in your business, anything in the world, anything that you guys want to make sure that we get a chance to answer today while we're here. I'm gonna ask one really quick question. What's the cow for?
What?
What's the cow?
It's just a cow. It's a golf brand. They just put random things on the front.
Love
Kind
that.
of like that.
All right. Well, show that to Eric, and Eric, we need a buffalo similar to that, and then you do what you want with that information. You see, now we're thinking, okay, we're all on the same page here together. This is
I'm
good.
trying to get, I've got like 4 pet ideas.
Real American Freedom.
Just solidified.
You got to be careful because Real American Freedom is very close to the brand that we're talking about, so you got to be careful.
Right.
And Real American Freedom, real AF.
Need the
Buddy, really is.
buffalo logo.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now, but I believe you. I love it. Okay, really quick.
Do you have any topics that you want to jump into, Byron?
I will unless there's a question.
I got a situation.
Go ahead, hit us.
So I got a guy coming from Las Vegas. He's got a lot in North Omaha. Used to be a house. It got condemned or something. City made him tear it down.
Mhm.
Now it's overgrown with weeds and stuff like that. The guy wants to sell the lot, but then, I asked him what price he wanted. Something. He said 28,000. I looked up, did a comp. Lots in that area only selling for like 6,000. I did a little search. I had a little search on it. The guy owes 12,000 on it to the city for tearing down the property and all the weeds and all the stuff like that.
Oh wow.
So, but he wants me to sell it. And I'm thinking, I don't think it's gonna sell for one. I don't really wanna list it and have it be on the market for 300 days or whatever. Cause it's not getting the price that he wants,
Mm-hmm.
and so I kinda really wanna turn him down as a client. I really can't help you,
Yeah.
and but he's having me just trying to find guys that'll help, somebody to cut the lot, so he's not getting charged by the city,
Oh yeah.
I'm not really, he came to me today, try to call somebody to help him out, but that's all I'm doing is helping them out right now. For nothing, but,
Yeah.
I think I should turn down this guy as a client.
Sure. That is that's a phenomenal scenario. Okay, just the TLDR, just make sure I understand this correctly. He owes more than we think the property can sell for. He wants to try to sell it with enough to make up for everything that he owes and hopefully make some money on top of it if he can, right? And you're dreaming, I don't really want to be the one to be stuck holding this bag for the next 10 years while we wait for this thing to sell. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. My first question for you, is he fully aware of all the stuff that he owes on this property?
Yeah.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How did he react when he found out he owes money and probably some fines for noxious weeds and all kinds of stuff? Taxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
And the city tore down the house or he tore it down?
city tore it.
And they're gonna charge you for that.
Yeah.
It's like if you ever had to call 911 and they take you in the hospital or they take you in the ambulance and you think they're doing you a great service until you get the bill and you find out that it wasn't just charity. It costs money. Yeah, it's not just an Uber ride. Yeah, it costs money. Okay. So when he found out, he said, "Oh, really? Yikes! Now I really want $28,000."
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And you're trying to decide: do I turn this guy down? Do I help him? How much do I help him? What do I do?
Yeah.
I love that. It's phenomenal.
I turned them on to there's this place, Omaha Land Company or something.
Mhm.
That they will assume lots, but I don't know if they'll assume them if there's money owed on.
Right. And does he owe money to any creditors or he has any loans out on this or he just owns it and he just owes back to the city because they might reclaim it someday? Love it. Okay, out of curiosity, What are this guy's options? Anybody know? This guy's got like 2, 3 options.
You can pay it off.
He could pay it off. He could show up with some money, pay it off, and then go sell it. Yeah, absolutely. What's the other thing he could do?
I was gonna say sell it to the developer.
He could develop it himself, right? He could develop it or joint venture with a builder and they can develop it together, sell it and actually make some money because there's a building on it now. Yeah, you could do that. Okay, that's option 2. What's the last option? Yeah, Eric's got it. Yeah, you wipe your hands, you move on, you pretend like it never existed, and then you let the city come back and claim it, and then you deal with Uncle Sam when Uncle Sam comes knocking at your door.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that one. Don't recommend if you owe taxes that you just wait for them to come find you. It doesn't usually work out in your favor when that happens. So, what'd you say?
So they take other stuff.
Yeah, the KGB is a whole nother, I mean, the IRS is a whole nother conversation that we don't got to talk about. So, he's got those 3 options. Do nothing, let it disappear, let somebody else buy it at auction for pennies on the dollar when it comes time. Joint venture, find a developer who would build with you over the next 3 to 6 months. He's really pumped. He just got some signatures, I'm guessing.
Yep.
So over the next 3 to 6 months, you work with a developer or a builder who's going to build a property on it. Then you guys sell it with some sort of joint venture agreement to sell it. Because I assume he doesn't live here. Is that right? You said California? Vegas. Okay, I knew it was somewhere nice, warm right now. Okay, Vegas. So yeah, he doesn't want to be the one developing it. So JV with somebody else, or just sell it and pay off the rest of the money. The real answer is you got to give him those 3 options and let him decide. Would you list this property way too high knowing that it's never going to sell? The answer is depends on who you are. Okay, so here's the short version of what I will say is it's never a bad idea to have your sign out in the yard where you can be marketed and people can find you and see you, and you can get calls from anybody about anything, and then you can go help those people do whatever it is that they're trying to do. Okay, that's always I'll always say that like marketing is good because it just gets your name out there and gives you the potential to buy clients, to get additional clients. Okay, that's first. Second, lots. Does anybody know the average days on market for lots? Yeah, let's make this simpler. Is the average days on market more than houses or less than houses?
More.
Yeah, way more. Yeah, way more. Like not even close. Like it's ridiculously. Lots sit on the market way longer than houses. So if you have a lot that's on the market for a long time, is that really going to negatively impact your reputation as a property seller? Not really, right? So it's not the worst thing if your thing sits in a yard sign and people can see it and they can drive by it. Okay, that's not the worst thing. The only time this gets bad is if he is not informed by you that this thing is not going to sell for $28,000. So the only way I would tell you not to take this is if you have to lie to him in order to get his business. If he is fully aware and he just says, Junior, will you go on this ride with me? Say, yes, I'll go on this ride with you. Just so you know, it's probably not going to sell until we get to X number. But I'm willing to put it out there and see what happens. Then I would say you are more than welcome to do it as long as he understands the consequences of sitting on the market forever and understands where this is probably really going to sell at way down the road. And also if he understands if you guys do sell it for, what'd you say, like $6,000 maybe?
Yeah.
If it sells for $6,000, like what is he going to owe when it comes time?
Yeah, he's real.
Yeah, he's going to have to bring a check to closing, right? Like the buyer's not bringing a check to closing, like he's bringing the check to closing. So as long as he fully understands that, then I wouldn't be against you putting your sign in someone's yard as long as they understand what's going on. Okay, so that's why in our listing presentation, you guys know we teach the only 3 things are going to happen strategy. This is a similar version of that where it's just like, hey, it's probably going to sit on the market if we do this. Just so you know, this is what's going to have to happen in order for it to sell. So yeah, don't be against that. And then do what you can to help him as much as you can. Super good question. That begs another question that we should probably talk about at some point, which is if you take a property at a high list price, like how do you still do it without getting beat down on the price? That's a whole nother negotiation class that we got to talk about. But I think we're going to come back to that at some point. That's a really good one. And I'm going to write that down to make sure we come back to that. That is great. My little notes here. I keep little notes for these classes specifically. So yeah, love it. Tell the man the truth. let him know the potential consequences, and then he gets to decide what makes the most sense for him. And if it's letting this go or moving the heck on, move the heck on. Or sell it to the city. That's an option that a lot of people don't know you can do. Sometimes the city will actually buy it from you. If anybody wants to develop it. Where is it? You said north.
So, I mean,
You don't know where yet?
no.
Yeah. That's the problem, is like it's hard to find people who want to
I
build
mean, I
it.
have the address. I don't know
What's the
memorized.
size of the lot? Is it like just a little tiny?
Yeah, it's just, it's a
0.18.
lot in the middle of two houses.
Yeah.
They were thinking about the weeds, you know?
Well, if you need a guy to cut it, I do have a guy who could cut it. He lives in North Oak. He cuts all over the state.
Oh, really?
If you need a guy, you let me know. He might also have a guy for you, but I also have a guy for you if you need it. Because he cuts a bunch of rental properties of a bunch of. He's a good dude. He actually cut one of Eric's listings a couple of dozen times.
Yeah.
Or we're waiting for it to sell. What was I gonna say around that? Oh, the other one. If this guy's like really industrious, that JV route could be a really good option for him. If he can find a builder who wants to build a house. The problem is in North Oak, you don't find builders every day who want to just build a single house in North Oak, right? In between two other houses. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a different story if it was like he's building a whole neighborhood, but like to build one house, very hard to find. So it's a great option if you can find it, but I don't know that that's a
In my
realistic
opinion,
cost.
his best bet is to sell it for the most that he can possibly get for it,
Write that check.
write his losses, write his check, and walk away. That's what I would do, but.
Yeah.
The probability of you getting much out of that is pretty slim.
The last lot.
You're talking a favor than you are up.
Yeah.
You won't make the gas back that it takes you to drive down, put your sign up. Right back.
Yeah, nobody really wins, but it's one of those things, necessary evils.
Yeah, the last lot that sold there sold for like 6,000, it was on the market like 150 days.
Yeah. And that's why, it's because nobody wants, the only people that would buy it, to be honest with you, are the neighbors. Right. So it's like, you can go to the neighbors and see if they'll pay $28.
That's the one thing, he will not sell to the neighbor left of him, because she's the one that's making the complaints.
It's just a matter of principle. Okay. Well, listen, I'll tell you what, if it comes to the point where she would buy it, you let Alex know, he'll wholesale it to the neighbor next to it, so it'll look like it's going to him, and then he can sell it to her. Done and done, everybody's happy, okay? But that's where you might come in as an agent, knock on both doors and be like, hey, that's why you don't have to deal with him, you'll deal with me, we'll work it out. Anyway, creative problem solving to a very difficult problem, like it's just a tough one.
Well,
But,
there was one guy
nobody got
that,
it.
near one of our rentals, he took a lot that he couldn't sell, and he turned it into a neighborhood garden, so you could rent like a little plot. On the
Oh,
garden,
look at that, creative.
And, you know, all the neighbors would have them.
Yeah, creative. I like it. There you go. Take it. Love it. All right. Other questions? Let me see if I can pull up. There we are. All right. Questions, preguntas, anything that we really need to go over really quick? Love that. That's a really good question. Oh, negotiation. That was the one I need to write down. Negotiate high price listing. Because we have so many listings going on, somebody's going to face this at some point where you got a listing, you don't know if you should drop the price or not drop the price, et cetera, et cetera. We got to talk about that. Okay. Love it. Más preguntas? Eric, you had something you were about to bring up. What was it?
Well, I was just, if we don't have anything additional to throw on the pile. One of the things that Amanda and I were kind of going over this morning when we were talking about, you know, trying to get to, in her situation that she's in right now. You know, I thought we'd dig into that whole, what if you can't get the reasoning out of your client?
Really, really good. Okay. I wish Amanda was here so we could have her give you the whole backstory. I'm gonna give you guys a short backstory. Okay. Amanda's got clients who were referred to her by somebody who just bought a house. I'm gonna explain to you the first person, and then the second person will make sense. Okay, first people look for a house and they have been to a number of showings over the course of 6 months. Over the course of 6 months, they've been to 6+ months. They've been on like 20 or 30 or 40 showings. Like they've looked at a lot of houses. And these are the kind of clients who would send her houses, be like, here's these 5 houses, and can we go look at them today at 5 o'clock? Right. So these are clients that were taking up a lot of time and end up over like a 6, 7, 8 month period. I don't know exactly how long she'd have to tell us, but over that long time, She's like, I keep finding them the perfect house. It checks all the boxes, but they won't pick one, and I can't figure out why. They won't pick one. They won't pick one. They won't pick one. Okay. Then these guys, they end up picking one. They finally get one. It works out. Great. Everybody's happy. 6, 8, 9, 12 months later, however long it was. Okay. Then those same people refer to them their friend. And then their friend basically does the same thing. They're like, hey, I got 5 houses. Can we go look at these today? And Amanda, the concern that she had was the first time she didn't believe that these people had a life circumstance to move, which, like we talk about, if you don't have a life circumstance, anything will stop you, right? It's such a big decision. It's so much money. Like, there's any number of reasons that will stop you. And everything did stop them. They changed their mind because of the house, because of the money, because of the location, because of the backyard, because of the fence, because of the power lines that are in the neighborhood. Like, every reason that they could have thought of to change their mind about buying a house, they did, because they didn't have a life circumstance. She's afraid that the same thing is about to happen with these new people that she just met. How do you avoid that? Right? Is that a fair little synopsis of the whole thing? Okay, cool. Anything else you wanted to bring up about this really quick before we dive in?
Don't have it. And I'll raise my hand if I feel bad. I need to have.
Dive in. Love it. Okay. The number one thing that I just want to make sure I remind you guys is that people have a life circumstance in order to move, right? If they don't have a life circumstance, something that happened in their life that is causing them to think about this move, that made them decide to look at houses, that made them decide that they want a bigger, more updated, fancier, new neighborhood, whatever, you name it. If they don't have a life circumstance, it's possible that some of your clients that are looking for a house don't have a life circumstance. Okay. Do you understand what is probably going to happen if they don't have a life circumstance? How long are we going to be looking for a house? Long time. Okay. Because everything that could stop them will stop them. The house ain't going to be big enough. It's going to cost too much money. The taxes are going to be too high. The closing costs are crazy. Your commission just got in the way. The curbs are too tall in this neighborhood. Like, literally anything that can get in the way will get in the way if there's not a life circumstance. Okay. And as things come and get in the way, you've got to be able to remind them of their life circumstance to help them get over all the obstacles that are going to inevitably come up. The inspection stuff that's going to come up, even on new construction. Do you guys have new construction stuff that comes up on inspection? Every time, because somebody forgot to put insulation in, or somebody double tapped a wire, or somebody, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, these things happen. So life circumstance, they have to have one. And you guys, especially, you guys were here this week, we talked about the 6 human needs. People are trying to solve for one of their needs when they're moving. They're trying to get certainty. They're trying to be certain that their family will be safe, they'll be secure, and they know what's going to happen to their family by making this move. Okay. They're trying to get some variety. They're trying to get a brand new house because they need everything that's new. And that's something that's very important to them. That's very unlikely. There's very few life circumstances that require that. Okay. Love and connection. They're doing this for a relative, a family member, a new baby, a children that moved out, a relative that needs to move in. They're doing it for the love and connection. They're doing it for significance, right? For example, one of the things that she mentioned was her clients continue to say, I just need a new updated house. Okay. When people give you like superficial surface level stuff like this, here's how you really pull out of them what is the life circumstance. Okay. When did you decide that that was important? I want you to remember this now, and if you need to write this phrase down, I want you to write this phrase down, because you'll be amazed at what people tell you when they tell you something that's important to them and you say, I like that. When did you decide that was important? Because this is where the life circumstance will show up. Okay. When you ask somebody who says, I need a new updated house, or I need a new investment property, or I need a new whatever, when did you decide that was important? When did you decide it was important for you to get an investment property? And what happens is you find out about the raise they got, about the friend who just moved, about the family member who just moved out, who are the friends who just got a new place, or the bonus that their wife just got because she just got a new job, or whatever it is. That's when you find out about the thing. So we've got to go back to, when did this idea pop up in your head? Something happened that triggered this idea. We need to figure out what that is, and that will lead you back into the life circumstance. It'll make it very, very easy for you to do time. Okay? Because if they don't have a life circumstance, you are welcome to work with these people. I don't recommend you throw them away, but let's be clear. Anything that could stop them is going to stop them if they don't have that life circumstance. So, is there anything I missed in here? Anything that we need to go over?
Yes,
Go ahead.
one little touch there. Just to finish out what you're saying.
Yep.
Once you figure out what that situation is. The other key component to that is the question that I told her to ask her client
Mhm.
was, okay, you've got a great house here. What's missing? What's the one thing that's missing in this house that you wanna see? And have them walk you through, just tell them, like, I know it sounds corny, but close your eyes and walk me through what you want this house to look like. And tell me what's missing in the house that you come home to every single day, because if I'm correct here, if it's somebody that's going for status, you've worked really, really hard and you deserve to have the house that makes you feel like this is worth all of the work. Am I right? And they're gonna be like, yeah, exactly. If they're, that's a nice way of saying this is about status.
Mhm.
And when you have that conversation and you ask them to walk you through that house, it's gonna make it easier for you to find it. A. B, it's gonna be easier for you to discount the ones that aren't what they just told you that they wanted.
Mhm.
And C, it makes it easier for you to remind them of what they told you that house looked like. Because if they're telling you and you're not telling them, then later on you can say, hey, remember when you were walking me through the house and it had that big, beautiful open window in the back? This one doesn't have it. Is that still important to you? Yeah, that's really important to me. Okay, perfect. Well then, let's skip this house because it doesn't have that. Or that bathtub, or the Jack and Jill bathroom, or the room in the basement for the daughter that doesn't wanna live with the two young kids upstairs, or whatever that situation is. Whatever it is that they tell you that when they walk you through in their mind what that house looks like, it's gonna be able to be something that you can refer back to remind them to not go look at 46 houses and only go look at this.
I love it. I love it. Just hit the nail on the head. It's like, and you walk me through why it's gonna do this. Let your clients come to conclusions on their own. I love everything about it. Okay, love it. Other questions, scenarios, anything that Jeremiah, I know you got all the electronics up. Is there anything coming in on the electronics that we need to answer? If not, I'm gonna jump into one more thing.
In the chat.
Love it. No problem. That's okay. I don't have anything. I got the chat up here.
Yep.
I just didn't know if there's anything that came in on Facebook. Okay.
Travel thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how do you market an off-market property?
Phenomenal question. Give us a little bit more details about what you're talking
So
about.
I talked to Eric about this before,
Yeah.
the squad, that my client wants to sell. He doesn't want to put on the market because he doesn't want people interrupting the tenants that are already there.
Yes.
He doesn't want to do a bunch of showings. He's just like, bring me somebody who wants to buy it, I'll let you show it to him, I'll arrange it. And then that's it, but I don't want to put it on the market so everyone's just keep, wanting to look at it. You have to kick these tenants out every day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you go about doing that?
It's a phenomenal question. Okay, so what I will preface this with is there are, because you guys are all licensed, there are certain rules about marketing that you have to abide by. Okay, and the reason why you have to abide by certain rules is because of what we call equal housing opportunity. Okay, which means that you have got to give everybody an equal opportunity to see this house and to participate in this house if you're going to market it publicly. Okay, this is a very it's a very challenging and very stigmatizing rule that exists in real estate because you're licensed and because you have more expertise than other people. It's one of the reasons why wholesaling became illegal in Nebraska, if you guys don't know that. But this willingness to market, if you're going to market something to the general public, as in you're going to put it out there and then let people come back to you, you are actually not allowed to do this unless you either own the property or you have a listing contract. Okay, so you can't publicly market this thing unless you have ownership in the property or written permission to do so through a listing agreement of some kind. Okay. This was we'll talk about wholesaling later. That's just getting into another rabbit hole that we don't need to get into. So how would you do it? How would you market this property? There are two specific things that you can do to market this property. The first is through social media. If you've ever seen our good friend Eric Carraher, he is the master at this kind of marketing. Okay. And what you can do is, he says, oh, shit, don't do this to me. Okay. What you do is you can vaguely describe the property, the project, the opportunity, and you can ask somebody, and you can ask very generally, if I find something like this, is anyone here interested in it? Okay. The way you do this is no pictures, no addresses, no clear descriptions of the actual property. Okay, but what you can say is, I have a fourplex that is going to sell under $500,000. Is anyone, if I find that, is anyone interested in it? Or I have a potential lead, would anybody be interested in it if it does come up? Okay, this is the only way that you can do it, because that way it cannot be tied to a specific property, and the equal housing opportunity does not apply, because we're not talking about a property yet. We're just talking about the idea of what could I be looking for you. Okay, so that positions you as somebody who's looking for off-market deals, and you're looking for people who are interested in off-market deals. Okay, then you do the second part of this, which is the second way you market a property, which is just through one-on-one conversation. Okay, this is the best way to do it. This is one of the reasons why I hate that this keeps coming back up. Wholesaling keeps coming back up. Is does anybody not know what wholesaling is in the room? Anybody not know what wholesaling is? Okay, great, perfect. So the whole problem with wholesaling was, you find a property and then you send it to this giant buyers list of people. Okay, and what the wholesaling law says is, technically, if you have a list this long, that's the same as marketing to the public, because you don't actually have relationships with all these people. If you just have a relationship with you, like if you're sitting in the room and you just want to talk to me about it, you can talk to me about it, but you can't market it to 17 people at the same time. So as long as you don't market it to 17 people at the same time, so when people respond to you on your social media, you have to DM them one-on-one, or you have to call them personally on the phone and say, hey, I've got this opportunity, are you interested? That way, there's no off-market deals are allowed in that capacity, but you can't market to the general public in a mass marketing way with a license, unless you own the property or have written interest. So the ways I would recommend: social media, and just get on the phone with the buyers that you know. That is
There are
100%
still
the way.
wholesalers that are trying.
So there are wholesalers that are doing it, and this goes back to the conversation we had yesterday in class, which is, when there's rules, there also have to be people to enforce the rules, right? So there's rules about not wholesaling. Who enforces the rules about not wholesaling? Does anybody know who enforces the no wholesaling rules? The Real Estate Commission is supposed to do it. Yes, good job, Jeremiah. The Real Estate Commission enforces those rules. Now, if you wholesale without a license, how does the Real Estate Commission know who you are? They don't. You can't even see them. So the reality is wholesaling legal? Yes. Are you going to get in trouble for it? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. So that's why there's still plenty of wholesaling, even though it's technically outlawed in Iowa and Nebraska. But you will see people who are licensed actively trying to enforce it. So if you post that status in like a let's call it like an investors group or something like that, they will delete it, because they'll tell you have to have vested interest in the property or be the listing agent. They'll delete it because they could get in trouble because they moderate the group. So anyway. Wow. Didn't know we were going to talk so much about investing today. This is good. This is exciting. Yeah. Or if you're really good friends with Eric, he has a lot more Facebook friends than the rest of us. So you should have Eric post it also. Maybe he'll find you a deal. You just offer him a little. You can be the buyer's cut, I'll take the lister's cut. We'll work something out. You bring your friends, I'll bring my friends, and we can all be friends. We can even do it every weekend. That's all right with you. Can't get an encore for that. That was I just did the whole verse. That was so good. What's that? It is a song. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it is actually in several songs and used to pay homage to the original. Anyway, love it. Really good question. Very, very good question. How do you market an off-market property? Yeah, the answer is not publicly, but
that
find the buyer
that he talked about. I've done that with properties in that fashion where I've had like a listing agreement signed. So that I have the ability to, like, say I have a pocket listing kind of thing. But you have to be very careful with it.
How about pocket listing for gone?
They are essentially,
Yep. Agreed. Fully agree.
and it's not in anybody's best interest to use So in that situation, it would be a, hey, I heard about, I have a lead on this. Does anyone have any interest in this? Reach out to me, before it hits the market, you possible to see it before it hits the market type of thing. Or no, I wouldn't say that, possible to get info. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so you think I should have them sign a listing agreement, just not have a date or for the property?
Like making an actual list.
The way that I did mine is I put like a listing agreement, and then I put into the final part that official listing date to be determined kind of thing, but then I put a date of put verbiage in there that says that the listing agent has the ability to discuss the property, actual listing date to be determined at a later time.
That's one of those things, he doesn't want it open to showings. He wants me to be there for whenever it gets shown,
Of course,
so. But, yeah, he just doesn't want a bunch of people tuning out.
He just doesn't want people like walking around there, or he doesn't want like people scheduling showings all the time.
Yeah, scheduling showings with no real interest, and then financing's falling through twice, so he wants me to vet these people before.
Oh, well, this is really easy. So he's open to listing it, he just doesn't want people showing the property.
Yeah.
Unless they're like really gonna.
You do like their shows.
So this would be my suggestion is, if that's the case, this is a situation where you want to go ahead and do that, like do an actual listing, because he wants people to see it. He just doesn't want to be showing it all the time. So what you can do is in the showing instructions, just change the showing instructions to say showings only available whatever day, and then you have to be there for the showings. Okay, then investors they will accommodate that, because 3 plexes, how many is it? 4? 4 plexes are impossible to come by. What's that?
Isn't that pretty typical for those type families that have just like one day?
It's very common for like there to be just one day of showings and say, we're gonna show it on one day for X number of hours, and then everybody can come and see it or not see it. It's up to them how to do it. And then what we do is we get really good at pre-qualifying the people before when they come to put in offers with their financing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the things that I don't think enough agents are doing, and I think we should all get in the habit of doing this, is when you're accepting a contract, your contract has the lender's information on there, and you should call the lender and like make sure that they have all the financing and that these people are actually as far along in the process as they say they are, and that they have everything that they claim to have. That's where a lot of people financing falls through, is their lender isn't the reputable lender that we think they are.
Yeah.
Or you make them go get it through Dundee Bank, because they're definitely cool.
That's the thing, like, if you're dealing with Wells Fargo,
Yeah,
you can't contact them anyway, because they won't talk to you.
you might be able to, because you can't contact Wells Fargo, but you can contact their individual broker or whoever their loan officer is, and they have to put that on the contract. If they don't put that correct one on the contract, like you could invalidate their contract pretty immediately. But you have the ability to contact them, and most of those people, I won't say most of those people answer the phone. Some of those people answer the phone. If they have Viridian anything, they're not gonna answer the phone. They don't ever answer anything. They don't do most things right. But they are the cheapest.
I was gonna say that.
They are the cheapest. But
I've said it a million times. You got like a great lender that did their job and planted them in Viridian, they would make so much money.
yes, true. Maybe not, because Viridian, I mean, they take more off the top than like.
If they could get the same deal you could get at any other bank.
Yeah, but they don't. Yeah. Just because you're getting so much volume. Right. Anyway, sorry about our side conversation. Sidebar. I don't know what that is. That was a calendar. There's a calendar in the chat. Other questions? Things you want to make sure we discuss? Okay, I was going to share with you guys a there you go. So there's a very creative business opportunity that a friend of mine and we kind of like ideated around this together. This will 100% work for anybody who wants to do it. I will just flat out tell you, for most agents, you need to ignore this. Okay, this next 5 minutes is not for you. You should probably ignore it. But if you're a hustler, like this could be like a tremendous opportunity for you. Can I share this with you? Or you guys mind if I share this with you? Okay. This is something that you're going to get to see. We're going to put in our Meraki trainings. It's one of the things that, one of the ways in which you could get, one, you would get a tremendous amount of business, but it does require a little bit of hustle on your end. Okay. This is one of the things that, in addition to our 30-day jumpstart strategies, this is one of the things that we will probably be inputting. But again, it takes some effort. Okay, but it is very creative. It will put you in a field of one and get you lots of clients that you probably would have never had otherwise. And it goes right in line. The thing that reminded me of it was that we were just talking about how do you market a property that isn't on the market. This is an entire strategy about getting clients due to the fact that you know of properties that are not on the market. Okay, so this is what we call the off-market business plan, and it is a full business plan because this is a place where you can get buyers and sellers at high levels by providing a tremendous amount of value to both buyers and sellers in the marketplace. And you bring all those people together and you put deals together. Okay, so let me just walk you through really quick what it means. So first and foremost, on social media, you put out a post offering people to get on your off-market buyers list. Okay, we have a list of off-market properties that we are willing to offer you. That we are willing to send you. Let me know if you want it, and then people will hit you on this comment. They'll comment, "I'm in. I want it. Send it to me. I want your off-market buyers list or off-market properties list because I'm sick of losing offers in the market." Okay, this is going to happen, especially more and more as one, lots of buyers come to the market during the spring, and we still don't have a tremendous amount of listings. Okay, so social media, you go and offer this off-market buyers list. Okay, off-market properties, excuse me. Okay, then when people raise their hand and they say, "Hey, I want this list," what you're going to do is you're going to ask them to tell me what's your dream property. Right? What kind of properties are you looking for? I'm not going to give you the whole list. I'm going to give you ones that you really care about. Okay. What's your dream property? You're going to get them to explain to you what it is that they're actually looking for. 3 beds, 2 baths, Millard, Gretna. You'll get the area, you'll get the kind of house, you'll get the style, you'll get a pool, whatever it is, you'll find, they'll tell you whatever their dream property is. Okay. Now, what you do is you take their criteria and you go straight to the MLS. So once you describe your dream property, okay, let me put together a list of properties that are perfect for you. I'll send them to you. Okay. You're going to go to MLS and you're going to look for these properties. Wait, Byron, I thought you said off-market properties. Here's where the fun kicks in. First place you're going to go to find these off-market properties. Any guesses where we're going to go first? We got to go off-market properties. So the first place we're going to go is we're going to go to expireds. Because I'm going to type in your criteria and I'm going to find houses that didn't sell based on exactly what you want. And now I'm going to get in touch with all those owners and say, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Expired listing. So here's the tremendous service that you're offering. You're offering these people a house that's not on the market. Okay, that's one. And you just found a whole bunch of buyers who are looking for a property. Now you're going to the seller and not saying, "Hey, Mr. Seller, I can find you a buyer." You're going to say, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Expired, I have a buyer who's looking to buy a property exactly like yours. Do you still want to sell it?" Okay, this is the first place you're going to go. This is madness. We got to clean this. Put this on the list. Okay, so you're going to go to expireds and you're going to find exactly what they're looking for. Then the second place you're going to go is what we call circle prospecting. Circle prospecting, this is the circle prospecting or the just listed, just sold. By the way, the expired and canceled. How far back can you go with expired and canceled? Does anybody know? Yeah, as far back as the MLS goes. You can go back 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 years with expireds. You can go back as far as you want. Okay, so you're gonna go back for expireds and find exactly the properties they're looking for. Then you're gonna circle prospect with the same script. Hey, I have somebody looking to buy a house just like yours. Do you know anybody who's looking to sell one? Okay, so you're gonna find these sellers, and again, you're providing a tremendous service because you already did the hard work of finding the buyer. And you're saying, hey, I can connect you guys. And now these people are probably gonna say, no, I don't want to sell. But when it comes time, who are you gonna go to? Joe Schmo up the street or the agent who's already done a whole bunch of work and brought you a buyer once already. You've now established your value. And now you compile this big list of sellers who you're going to follow up with over the next 30, 60, 90 days. And you got a whole bunch of buyers who, even if you didn't find their dream property, you probably have seen a whole bunch of properties that have come on the market, and you might be able to get yourself a client, get these people in here for a buyer presentation. So you provide them the listings that you find relationships with these new sellers. Now you have relationships with sellers and buyers, and over the course of 30 days, you have a tremendous number of opportunities that you've drummed up out of nowhere by creating opportunities that didn't exist, first with off-market properties, and then with the actual sellers of people who own properties, and you demonstrate value that other agents flat out are not demonstrating, except for their social media presence in which they're taking cool pictures inside of cool houses. Anybody think you'd stand out as an agent if you did something like this over the course of like 90 days? Yeah, holy cow. Yeah, that's kind of impressive. Now you've got a whole bunch of social media opportunities, marketing opportunities, and truly something to do every single day when you come in here and you're like, who do I talk to? Man, go find you a person in an off-market property. Now you've actually done all the hard work up front, finding the buyers, finding the houses, finding the people's information and talking to them. Okay. Preguntas around this? All right. I give you guys way too much game up here. Like I should probably write a book and just sail off into the sunset, but I deliver it to you, the people. I know that movie, Dark Knight Rises. Really, really good. If you haven't seen it. That's right. That's right. You thought real estate was your ally. Anyway. That is a different movie. But any other I know I want to be respectful of your guys' time. We're getting close to 2:00. So are there any other things that you guys are facing in your business that you guys want to make sure we talk through, get a chance to chat about? Okay, next week. Is book of the month next week or the week after? My whole okay, so not next week. So next week we get another coaching call. Perfect. Good. Okay, next week. My promise to you is I'm going to bring you guys the addendum that we're having all buyers sign. Okay, this is the addendum to allow you to request commissions from other agents. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the addendum, and I'm going to teach you guys how to use it next week. Okay, we're going to go through that, and we'll still have time to do questions and things that people are going through. So make sure you come here for that. I cannot emphasize that enough. That is one you are going to need to have. So we're going to give you the addendum. We're going to show you how to use it, and we're going to show you what the conversation has to look like between you and the other agent. Okay. In order to prepare you for this, I want to challenge every single one of you guys. If you have never done this in your career, I really want to challenge you to do this. Take our for sale by owner script and go call any for sale by owner, any one for sale by owner, and just see if they are willing to pay a 3% co-op to an agent. Okay. You just see if you can get a seller, a for sale by owner, to pay a 3% co-op to an agent. And I promise you that will just set you up to be able to request your own commissions in the future. Okay. But you've got to have that skill. That is the first way that you will be able to easily see how this process will work for us moving forward. Okay. So that's just a great microcosm. If you haven't gotten a chance to do that yet, I really want to challenge you to do that. Take our for sale by owner script. See if you can get a seller to say, yes, I would pay you 3% co-op. After they say yes, you can hang up. You don't have to prospect them. You don't have to follow up. Just make sure you have the ability to do that and understand what that sounds like and feels like, because that will be an imperative skill to making sure that you get commission as you keep seeing some of these agents who post seller is not paying a commission. Go ahead.
Book of the month is going to be next week.
Book of the month is next week. Okay. Then I tell you what I promise you I will do is we will spend 10 minutes at the beginning of that. Doing that, I will deliver that for you. And we will make sure we do that next week. And then we'll do book of the month. Book of the month is fire. If you haven't gotten book of the month, greatest salesman in the world, highly, highly recommend you get it. You could read this entire book in one day. The entire book, like one night. It's like 93 pages.
Best salesman in the world.
Yeah, The Greatest Salesman in the World. It's by a guy by the name of Og Mandino. Okay. Not two. It's Greatest Salesman 1. There's 2 volumes of this book. Get the first one. But again, it's like 96 pages or something like that. It's a tiny little book, super easy read. You could read the entire thing in a day, and most of you probably will. Like, it happens very, very fast, but it's very, very good. And just want to prepare you. There's a twist. So right when you think you know everything that's in this book, and you're like, I don't need to finish it, you better freaking finish it because there's a twist, and I think you'll like it. Okay. I don't know. I've never done the audiobook because it's 90 pages. So
bad.
it's a bath read. If you're a Rev Run, yes, it is a bath read. So I love that nobody. Mason, thank you for understanding what Run's house is, because being a member of the MTV era. So appreciate you.
Surprise.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be back next week. I promise you I'll deliver tons and tons of value again. We'll see you guys.